everyone, Mary here. I want to start this video letting you know that, quick disclaimer, whenever you're using a heat tool, you want to make sure that you are being very careful, that you make sure you turn it off at the end, and also highly recommended that you unplug it from its outlet source when completed with your crafting. This hopefully will be a helpful review video for you, and do know that there are a lot of heat tools on the market, so before you make your purchase, go ahead and do some of your own research to make sure you're getting exactly what fits your needs. Hey everybody, so quick reasoning behind looking at these three heat tools. This is the heat tool that I have been using for years, the Wagner heat tool. And I purchased it from Amazon for $18. It is, to me, the best one I've used, although in fairness, I've only used two. I had an old one from Stampin' Up, and I have this one. The other one, the old one I gave to my husband, he uses it in his area of working. But so I've been using this for a while. Well, recently I noticed that when I clicked on the link that I post for you all from Amazon, that this heat tool was coming up. So this is a Wagner as well. And I thought, well, you know, if I'm linking it, I should probably be trying it because that's not appropriate. You know, I didn't know that they had switched. It's the same exact link, but they now attached this to it. So I decided to purchase it. This one still works, so there's no issues with it, but I've noticed that it's gotten a little bit loud over the years, and so I don't know if that's something broken or what, but it still works. So I purchased this one, and then in my quest, I thought, you know, is there an option for people that maybe want to spend less money or just, you know, starting out, something small, easy to use, and so I purchased this one. So when I go over the heat tools, I will put the prices as of today, what they cost. Now, I should say, before we move on into testing them, I want to say that this one can be purchased from certain craft stores, and I will link it below. But the price seems to be fluctuating, and it seems to be increasing. So again, I purchased this exact one for $18. I have seen it on certain craft websites for $45, $55. And so that is kind of pricey. So I wanted to try and see if the one that Amazon linked to now is worth the money, because it's around the same price, about $17 to $22. So we're going to test that out. So the first thing I want to look at with this new Wagner tool here is that it is much smaller than the other one. I'll bring this back in. It's much smaller. It's also thinner. So I guess maybe if I straightened it out, it might be the same length, but it is thinner than the other one, and it's lighter. So this one is very light. I also noticed that there are two speeds on this Wagner heat tool. So we have low and high, so 1 and 2, where there is only one speed on this one. And I also noticed that because of the angle, you can hold it a couple different ways. So you can hold it like a pencil if you're doing like really close stuff. I don't think the holding of it really matters, to be honest with you, because I just hold my heat tool like this. So it's not a big deal. A part I do like about it is how it stands up. The reason I like that is because I have been known to reach for something and bump my hand against my heat tool like this, and I've burned myself. So I like that this kind of takes that out of it for me. I'm much less likely to reach above like this. So I like that about it. This also kind of tucks away, so you can bring these in and just kind of tuck them into the sides here and just have your heat tool like that. So that's a feature that I do appreciate, actually, for them doing. So it stands. All right, the cord is long. It's really long, just like the other heat tool here. Okay, so I just put them together. They are the exact same length, so that's really convenient because I find that my outlet is pretty far away. So it helps that portion of it. And there's some other features on this that I will put on the screen so that you can kind of see as far as how hot it gets and some specs per this heat tool. So I wanted to see what this was all about. I bought it. We're going to test it out. Okay. The other one that I purchased was a really inexpensive one. This one is not homicide. Not that word. Homidic? I don't, Homidic. Improve your, I don't know what that is. Anyway, this is the one I purchased. I saw it. It had good reviews. It was cheap. Heat tool is 300. It's a 110 voltage, 300 watt. The nozzle is a little, actually the nozzle inside seems to be the same, to be honest. So that's pretty cool. And what I do like about this is it kind of has a guard on there, like a heat guard. So I'm wondering, you know, how that's going to work. Okay, so I mentioned this one as far as the wattage, but really that's not a helpful number necessarily. But the temperature is that I read online, it says it gets up to 200 degrees, where this new Wagner heat tool, on the low setting, it gets up to 450, and on the high, it gets up to 680. So that's a huge difference. But I did notice I was using this one recently on drying my background, and I felt like it was a really good way to dry my background without warping it. So there was some benefit to having a lower degree nozzle or lower degree machine. But anyway, it's a lot cheaper. It's half the price. So this one right now is retailing for $24.99 on Amazon. This one's retailing for $12.99. So it's a huge difference in price. However, long cord as well. So same length and cord. So that's convenient. So what we're going to do is, because this one is still on the market, I'm going to compare all three of them. And for fairness in the process, I am going to heat up each one of these for 1 full minute before I take them to my paper. So that is really important. I want to make sure that I do that because you can't compare apples to oranges. So we want to try to compare apples to apples. Okay, so we'll get set up for that comparison. So what I have here is I have an 80-pound Nina Solar White Classic Crest cardstock and an Arteza 140-pound watercolor cardstock. I have stamped and embossed, I've stamped with embossing with Versamark ink right here in this Seattle Skyline stamp set, and this stamp set's from Altenew. And then I used gold embossing powder over it. So I wanted to try on a more sturdy cardstock versus something thinner, and if we get any warping. So that's going to be part of the test. How long do I have to keep this heat tool on my paper before it gets warped? So so that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to start with the less expensive one, and we are going to, I'm going to speed up this part of the video, but I'm going to heat it up for 1 full minute. Alexa, start the timer for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now.
Alexa, stop the timer. Okay, so these are the results of the first inexpensive one. You can see I left it in real time, so how long that took. And I have to say there's virtually no warping on the watercolor cardstock. There is a little bit of warping on here. I felt, just by feeling, it felt like it took a long time to heat it up. So that seemed to take a while. Okay, so I'm going to move on then to the old Wagner. Alexa, start a timer for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now.
All right, so that was the old Wagner, or you know what I mean. It's not old, but that was the one I had for a while. And I got as much warping on the cardstock as I did with the first one, so there was no difference there. Okay, let's look at the new Wagner. Alexa, start a timer for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now.
Okay, so let's look at this. So if I had to look at these, I wonder if you can see all these in the frame. Let me look. Yeah. I would say, so we're going to know based on time, because I don't know, doing this demo, I don't know how long these took, but when I edit the video, we'll know. I would say the new Wagner one that I have did the least amount of warping, if I'm cutting hairs, splitting hairs, but I don't think that it was anything that I can't work with. I think there's a fair amount of change in each of these cardstocks, right? So, I mean, that's not really an issue. I think the time-wise, so if I'm, the way that I'm feeling, I mean, we'll see it. The proof is in the video. But I felt like the first one, the less expensive one, took way longer. Pausing the video really quick so you can see what the results are. Homidic, 42 seconds on the 80 pound, 43 seconds on the 140 pound, original Wagner, 24 and 23, and new Wagner, 28 and 23. I'm guessing with the new Wagner, the difference of 5 seconds between the first and the second was because it was even more heated up. And so I think that's probably why that result was happening. I like the feel of the new Wagner. I like how it's less noisy. It's not as loud. That was cool. But, and I like the price. If I'm being 100% honest, you guys know me. I'm a cheapskate. So anyway, that's the demo on the Wagner tool versus a less expensive option that I would definitely recommend the less expensive option if you are on a very tight budget and you want to take up heat embossing. I think it definitely does the job. It heat embossed, right? We got from A to Z. And you were able to do it without breaking the bank. So it is an option. But that's my take on these three. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions at all about the tools. I know there are a ton on the market. I couldn't afford to buy all of them. So if you like a favorite, tell us below which one it is, where we can find it, and why you love it. And that will help out all the people reading the comments. So let me know if this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.